Hello guys and welcome here to the Jello Cup Series. This is race number 10 here today. Hard to believe we're 10 races in already, but we are. And it's here today from the Milwaukee Mile. This is the first of two stops here in the state of Wisconsin. We will of course be headed up to Elkhart Lake in 7 races for race number 17 at Road America. So that'll be the next race on this, or not the next race on the schedule, but that'll be the next stop here in Wisconsin. Excuse me. But yeah, so in the meantime though, it is Dan Hummel who will be starting from the pole. To his outside is a 5-time winner in the Jello Cup Series. That is Max Anderson. We've had a few exciting races here. We've had 9 different winners so far. Can we make it 10 today? That's going to be the question. We also are quickly approaching Talladega. That'll be tomorrow here on GCN. Then, of course, Wednesday we will have a race at Charlotte, a double points race. Or, I'm sorry, Saturday we'll have the double points race at Charlotte. So, of course, these guys know that there are double points at stake at that race. They know that there's a lot on the line, so they will definitely be battling hard there. But of course today and tomorrow they're going to want to fight hard for every last point they can get to try to get a cushioning in case they do happen to fall out, like have a bad race over at Charlotte. So that's one thing they're going to want to do today. But anyway, this is the Jello Cup Series. This is race number 10 at Milwaukee. Let's roll the intro and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Through turn 4. Just 24. It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. The 96. Wins the race Dakota. Ryan Knox is going to win at Watkins Glen. 7. Got this. All right. Ryan got this. Ryan
Getting ready to go green. This is the first time Dan Hummel's been on the pole in his short Jello Cup Series career. Can it lead to a win? There's 60 laps to do that and to get to that point. We'll see if he's able to do it. Green flag is out. The Sargento 400 is underway. Dan Hummel will lead the opening lap here. One thing to keep in mind, this track used to be run by the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It also used to be run by the NTT IndyCar Series up till recently. So no major series run at this track anymore, to my knowledge. You guys might know more about that than me, but I have not heard of the Milwaukee Mile in the past few years. But the Jello Cup Series does run here, and I believe we ran a Carvana wildcard race here before. So these drivers pretty familiar with the track. Because after this we will go again to Talladega. That'll be tomorrow. Then Saturday night at 6 p.m. we will have the Coca-Cola 600 Longest race of the season, although I think that's now in competition with the race we just had at Gateway. I think that one just about tops this one. We'll be working on the laps at Gateway, trust me. But anyway, yeah, so we go to the Coke 600. Then we got a few more races till we hit our first road course race, which will be back here in Milwaukee, or in Wisconsin. Not this track, obviously, as Anthony Logan is battling for second with Max Anderson. And back there as well is that number 12 of Tim Horton, running the body armor colors for Team Penske. Keep in mind, Tim Horton's in a battle for that points lead with this guy 2 positions behind him. That is Jeff Scott. Those two are battling for the points lead. Jeff Scott's held it the past few races, but really has not increased his lead. His lead has not been above single digits all season since he took it. Oh, Ben Crouch is on the pit lane with an issue. We're going to have to check in on that, but not a good start for Ben Crouch here, and he's not going to be very thrilled with that car sitting on the pit lane. You see Dan Hummel, for the meantime, has pulled away by a little bit, about 6/10. This time to the line, it's half a second. And just look at this. This is sort of gone single file, except for back here, which we do find a battle for 12th right now. That is Dick Clark and Patrick Smith battling it out there. Side by side, might turn into a battle for 13th, as it looks like Patrick Smith's going to hang on to the position. And now it's a side by side battle between Mina Monroe and Dick Clark. Mina Monroe's already won a race this season. Diego Yepes is also back here with Joshua Saculli, who has not had a great start to the season with that JTG Doherty team, looking to get some points, but he is going in the wrong direction. Oh boy, JTG Doherty has a lot of work to do in this series with that 47. The 37, though, is on the opposite end of things. He's running up front in the standings and doing pretty well. He has not won a race, though. See Tim Randolph also battling there. There's Eric Faden. He's been on a nosedive of late, looking to get back on the right track, running top 20. It's not perfect, but it's something. We'll see if he's able to hang on. Up front, though, these two are going to be battling for the lead probably pretty soon. It's Anthony Logan, Daniel Hummel. But you see, they kind of separate a little bit there. Back behind, we got a battle for 4th, actually. The 6 of Trevor Collins, who's already won a race this season. Keep in mind, Mitchell Collins drivers have won the last 3 races. And now, Trevor Collins up to 4th. So, could that streak continue today? He could make it 4 wins in a row for those guys, and we'll see if he's able to do that. And obviously these guys, oh, you see the 00 had to lift a little bit. That backs, or the 12, that'll allow him to catch the 00, and that'll make this a battle for second in all likelihood, as now they're all close. Essentially now it's a top 3 breakaway up front. Again, after this we go to Talladega, then we go to Charlotte. Those are the next 2 races. That'll wrap up this week. Then we go to Michigan, Richmond, Kentucky. That'll be the next 3 races to open up next week. Then we go to Pigs Creek. So we got 2 restrictor plates coming up in the next few races. We've obviously got Indianapolis coming up real soon. See right there, they're nose to tail for that race lead, but none of them really have the strength to go around that 25 of Dan Hummel. And now the 12 will go for second. He knows how fast his car is, and he wants to be in this battle for the lead. Try to make it 2 wins with the body armor colors on that 12. And now we might have a battle for the lead. We got a battle for third, though, behind him, and that's the 6 of Trevor Collins and the 00 of Anthony Logan, and they will essentially settle it out. Up front, though, Tim Horton all over the back bumper of that 25. Let's take a look. Oh, wrong camera. Look at that. He had to lift a little bit to not run over the 25. Here we go, battle for the lead. And Tim Horton's got it. So move Tim Horton to the race lead. And with the win today, Tim Horton could tie himself up top the all-time wins list. As you see Dan Hummel lose second now, he's probably going to lose third. That outside lane just does not work very well around here. Keep in mind we will have some pit stops in this race. I just don't know when. But yeah, you see the inside lane just has a little more grip, it looks like. Yeah, it's something about that body armor scheme. I don't know what it is, but it gives Tim Horton a lot of energy up front. You see, he's starting to kind of muscle away from the 00. And keep in mind, the 00 is a go-or-go homer, just like the 42 back here of Chris Smith. Keep in mind, those 2 are go-or-go homers. This result today would certainly help them crawl closer to the top 33, which is a mark they want to hit, definitely. I would assume before the double points race. Caution is out. 8 of Eric Faden has got some damage. Looks like 65 Rihanna G buckled up his hood. He's coming to the pit lane. So an incident between the what looks like the 8 and the 65 will bring out the first caution of this race. Let's go see what happened. So I just want to say, if you're driving an ECR car in this race, or any car with an ECR engine, I'd be a little nervous right now, because that 13 of Steve Morgan, he just blew up randomly. And the 8 of Eric Faden blew an engine as well, so those 2 are done for the race. But take a look at this. See, the 22 Mitchell Collins has to go high, and it looks like the 65 tries to and misjudges it. Goes right into the back of the 13. Oh, and the 5 of Brad Stover catches a little bit. So does Ricky Johnson. Their damage might be minimal compared to the 65. Tough break for Steve Morgan, a go-or-go homer in this race. And especially a tough break for Eric Faden. The bad luck continues for that number 8. And obviously at 65, tough break for him too. Let's take you back to the green. So actually a correction, we'll show you the pit stops going on track right now. See, the leaders are in. Keep in mind the 65 will have the benefit of the first stall. Yeah, 25 will. See, 12 is in. 25 will go in just a moment. He's held up a little bit though, so that might hurt him. 19 Ben Crouch stays out, but he has to because he is a lap down. 6 is away, 12 is away. And I believe the 6 is going to win the race off the pit lane as we take you back to the green flag. Here we go. I believe we're going back green this time. It will be Trevor Collins, Tim Horton, Chris Smith, Jeff Scott, Alexander Rowe, then Frodemarotz, Dan Hummel, Dick Clark, Nathan Faden, and Max Anderson in 10th as we are back underway. Cars out of the race, 13 in the 8. Good news for Ben Crouch is this will move him up a few positions, but obviously not the result they're hoping for today. See Tim Horton, he's the faster car, but Trevor Collins wants to keep the lead and make it 4 in a row for Mitchell and his friends there. A win today would most certainly punch a ticket in for Trevor Collins for the playoffs. All he'd have to do then is stay top 30, because 2 wins just about guarantees you. But keep in mind, when we do hit race 26, all that's going to matter is the playoff points when it comes to 16 drivers, because we're in all likelihood going to have 16 different winners. It's all going to come down to playoff points at the end of the day. The tiebreaker, though, if 16th is tied, the tiebreaker will be obviously the points. Playoff points and regular season points. And of course, you got to keep in mind too, the regular season champ gets into the playoffs, win or no win. So these guys got to be aware of that. So essentially we could have 15 different winners in the playoffs. Whatever adjustments they made to the 6, Trevor Collins is liking it. But don't rule out Tim Horton. You saw him chase down that 25 on the long run. And don't be shocked if he does the same here to Trevor Collins. It takes him a couple laps to get those air pressure and you see their battle for third, Chris Smith and Jeff Scott. And Chris Smith will hang on for the time being. And a good run for Chip Ganassi so far. Both their cars are in the top 10. Of course, the 77, kind of a satellite team for them. They're Premium Inspire. But obviously the 77 does get some technical backing from Chip Ganassi Racing. Oh, I guess you can count as a half Chip Ganassi car, but that car is running in 17th so far. Not a terrible run for Diego Yepes, but not a great run either. As you see Trevor Collins slowly inching away. You just can't write this up, guys. Here comes the 12 once again. Let's see if he can chase him down. Keep an eye on that 42 as well. He's closing in pretty quick. And obviously Chris Smith, this would be a huge upset if he could win this race. Anyway, here we go, down into turns 3 and 4. See that 12 is able to gain some ground, then he loses some, but now he's really gaining, and he's going to make a run into turn 1, supposedly. See, will he pull to the inside? He does, but the 6 shuts the door. Yeah, Trevor Collins is looking at playoff points right now. Keep in mind the top 2 have won races this season. For Trevor, this would be his 2nd career win, and I would even argue it might even be back-to-back wins. I haven't recorded in a while, so forgive me for that. Obviously I should know better. For Tim Horton, this would be career win number 6. And he's staring it in the face right now. This would tie him with Hillary Sanchez and Eric Faden. And he knows that. And that's why he is working hard to chase down that number 6. You see there, he loses them again. The 6 just overall seems pretty strong. And again, it looks like we got a little battle for 6th here. And Dan Hummel's going to take the position away, the pole sitter, moving up the grid. Max Anderson trying to move into 7th. And it looks like he'll be able to do so this lap. Although, the 14, Alexander Rowe, he gets a good run on that high side. It looks like the high side works in turns 1 and 2, but not all too well in turns 3 and 4. And that settles out. Back here, though, battle for 12th between Hillary Sanchez and Nathan Faden. And it looks like Sanchez has got a strong car. She'll hang on to the position that lap. Keep in mind, these guys pitted around lap 20 the first time. We're past the halfway mark. We're potentially closing on some final pit stops. I would like to venture to guess that. So we head back up front, and Trevor Collins is just putting the burners on these guys. He's running away. And it looks like whatever adjustment they made to the 12 car is just not liking it right now. So, maybe some drastic changes coming for Tim Horton on his next pit stop. Because you see Chris Smith is chasing him down, and he runs it high and hits the wall. Looks like Chris Smith got a little excited there. Keep in mind, he has not run up front a whole lot this season. And that little hiccup is going to allow the 12 to run away from him. That's just why you gotta be careful. Honestly, you can't run that aggressive around here. I mean, he's still running in 3rd. That's good. Obviously, this team just needs the points right now. But a win, if they could steal a win from these guys, this hurts the guys in contention for the playoffs. And this helps Chris Smith get closer to the top 33. Obviously. And I could say with full certainty the next round of stops will likely be the last round. You see there, Tim Horton just inching away at that race lead. Up ahead, though, he might be able to catch a break because that's Ricky Johnson in the 93 trying to stay on the lead lap. And he's got an issue of some sort, because you can tell he's way off the pace. And now the 6 is going to go side by side with the 93 and the 6 will lap him. Not a good run for Ricky Johnson so far. He did crawl into the top 33 though last race, so that's good news for them. And you see the 6 is in, so is the 12 and the 21. So it looks like a bunch of them pitted a lap before, now the rest are pitting this time around. I see the 18, did he stay out to lead some laps? He did not. Keep in mind, this is the money stop. Right sides go on the 6. We'll see, do they go around and make it left sides too? It's going to be a 4-tire stop. For them, the 12 of Tim Horton looks to be doing the same. And he's out and away. Max Anderson in the Wood Brothers machine, 4 tires and fuel. Here comes the 42 of Chris Smith. He's going to overtake second place from Tim Horton. Keep in mind, he pitted a lap sooner, so he had fresher tires. He should be able to close a little bit of that gap on the 6 as well. Keep in mind, he got a full lap going while these guys had worn tires. It's about the same, first to second, but it's a different second place driver. And Ricky Johnson's going to come out right in front of the 12 of Tim Horton. This'll hurt him. But Chris Smith is right there. 0.8 of a second. Keep in mind, the 6 has gotten faster on the long run, so that's what that car is built for. If we stay green, this 6 is in good hands. But it is Trevor Collins leading. Chris Smith is in second, looking to pull off the upset. Third is Tim Horton. He just got around Ricky Johnson, the lapped car. Fourth is Jeff Scott. Fifth is Frode Maratz. Sixth is Samet Ozkan. Seventh is Max Anderson. Eighth is Dan Hummel after starting on the pole. Ninth is Alexander Rowe. 10th is Mina Monroe. 11th, we got a battle. It's between Dick Clark and Hillary Sanchez. And Sanchez dives it in. She'll take 11th away. So move Dick Clark to 12th. 13th is Joshua Saculli. 14th is Giorgio Stumu. 15th is Tim Randolph. 16th is Anthony Logan. 17th is Dylan Young. 18th is teammate Mitchell Collins. 19th is Nonigan Scott. And in 20th is that number 20 of Dylan Ibrahimian. That is through the field. You see back there as well Austin Shaw in the 21st position, hoping that Jordan's scheme would turn their luck around. We'll see if he's able to crawl into the top 33 with Ricky Johnson and Eric Faden's misfortunes. Might be a little too much for him, or 21st might not be enough for him to overcome that. Up front, you see the 42's been hovering just under a second with the race lead. Boy, a win for Chip Ganassi would be something. For one, because the 42 is outside of the top 33. And then obviously we've all heard the story about Kyle Larson their NASCAR Cup Series driver, former NASCAR Cup Series driver. So for them to get a win here on the Jello Cup Series circuit would be phenomenal. It would obviously be an upset because this team is a go-or-go-home team. We'll see if he's able to close. He's under half a second, but we've seen the 12 struggle once he catches the 6. Back behind though, here's something that's going to be worth keeping an eye on as we're inside the final 10 laps of the race. 51 and 12, this is the points lead battle right now. Keep in mind, Tim Hortons led a lap. Jeff Scott has not. So I imagine it'll just be within probably 3 points, 4 points for that points lead. Keep an eye on that in the closing laps. As you see, one lap it looks like Trevor Collins gains, another lap he loses. Or I'm sorry, Tris Smith gains one lap, he loses the next. He's just got to be more consistent. You see how much that 6 is beating him. He's the only guy with a 29-second lap in this race. So not only is he the leader, he's the fastest car on the track. Austin Shaw somehow has the second fastest lap of the race. It's that Jordan mentality, I guess. The Jordan logo's on that number 48 this week. They'll be running that scheme a handful of races, of course. Saw Chris Smith lost big that lap. He's probably going to need a caution. But either way, I'm sure he gains very, very little. He's either going to need a hiccup from the 6, or he's going to need, like I said, he's either going to need a mistake from the 6, or he's going to have to really start buckling down, because I don't think he's going to be able to get there. Five laps to go. And he loses that lap, and that might just seal it. Back behind, you see Tim Hortons got almost a second advantage on Jeff Scott. The real battle in the top 5 right now is for that final top 5 position. Samet Ozkan and Frode Maratz, and Samet Ozkan has not had a strong start coming up to the Jello Cup Series. He would sure like a good result today to turn their misfortune around. And then obviously the one of Frode Maratz, he's had an okay start so far. He would like to continue, get a top 5, boost this team's momentum. Another person who just crawled into the top 10 is Hillary Sanchez. Keep in mind, for Hillary Sanchez, this is very big for this team to be in the top 10. They were outside the top 33 to start the season, and they're really starting to work together well. It looks like she's finally getting the hang of things over at Go Fast Racing, and a top 10 is only the beginning for this team if they can hang on. And you see there, it looks like the 42 is conceding. He just can't get there. But now he's gonna probably have a battle on his lap if he doesn't get moving. 42 is, or the 12 is closing, and that is Tim Horton. Keep in mind, Tim Horton would love to pick up another position. That'll help him. He will gain 3 points today on Jeff Scott if he can get around the 42. White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Trevor Collins. And we documented before this race, Mitchell Collins, Carter Joey, Trevor Collins, all signed up by Mitchell Collins. They've won the past 3 races. I believe Trevor Collins was the most recent, and if that is the case, Trevor Collins either way gets his 2nd career win today at Milwaukee, and I believe back-to-back. Our first 2-time winner of the season, and it is Trevor Collins. Congratulations to the 6. Job well done. He won it on a pit strategy, and then he is essentially, whatever adjustment they made to that 6 on the first stop, it certainly went a long ways for them. So congratulations to them. And the 42, though, Chris Smith, he's got nothing to hang his head on, you know, or hold his head low. Hang your head high, kid. You did well. You know, getting a top 5 here, pretty impressive after a very slow start to the season. And then Tim Horton's going to gain a few valuable points. Not the win, which I'm sure he would have wanted, but he'll have to settle for 3rd. But congratulations goes out to Trevor Collins. Mitchell Collins drivers have now counted for the past 4 race wins in Jello Cup Series. Can anybody stop them at this point in the season? Because it looks like right now, at this stage, they're the 3 to beat. And I remind you, the ratings are very even. So I can't exactly tell you how they're pulling this off, but I will just say it looks like they've started clicking with their teams. And that's just a good sign as we keep going through the season. We're getting close to the midway point, but obviously clicking this early, it's looking good for those guys to make the playoffs. And it's looking like they are the teams to beat as we get closer, or as we get further and further into the season. Again, congratulations to Trevor Collins. We'll see, though, at Talladega, can anybody stop those 3? And we'll have to wait and find out. Here come your results and standings. We will see you at Talladega for the Geico 500. Goodbye, everyone.